This is the Mollies Ridge shelter. The spot is labeled as the Devil's Tater Patch in Far Out. I don't know why. North Carolina has been a little stingy with their white blazes. Surprised they have one there. I feel like every time I stop and take a video, it looks exactly the same because these white flowers are absolutely everywhere. And the bees are everywhere too. These yellow ones are new flowers. I haven't seen them. Or if I have, I've forgotten. I thought the AT wasn't supposed to have horses on it, but I guess they're allowed in this section because two ladies on their horses passed me. And there's also been an incredible amount of poop on this section of the trail. So that's been a lot of fun to walk through or around. I am about 0.3 from the shelter. There's a little hump we have to go over. This grass is kind of cool. Haven't seen any of it really. It's kind of overshadowing the flowers. And this terrain's been pretty nice too. It's just kind of warm out and I'm really tired from yesterday. So I'm only going to the shelter 6 miles away instead of the one 12 miles away. It is 2 o'clock and I'm at the junction now. The Spence shelter is 0.2 down this trail. I might need to take a rest before I go down there, but we're here. This is the Spence shelter. They all seem to have the same design. I was going to do this yesterday, but with the threat of the rain, I didn't want to stop and talk about this. And then I was trying to get to the other shelter, so I didn't either. So the way the Smokies works is that there is a permit required. It costs $20. Once you buy it, you have 30 days to get into the park and then 8 days to get out of the park. From what I've heard, that's not a hard rule. As long as you're making progress towards getting out, they're not going to bother you, which was kind of my hope anyway, because shelters are a little weirdly spaced out. Like today I only went 6 miles because the other option was 12 miles, and I can't do multiple 12-mile days in a row yet. Pre-COVID, the way it worked is that everyone had to stay in the shelters, and then once the shelters were full, through hikers could tent camp outside of it. COVID went away with that rule. I thought this was a stupid rule, especially since people doing like overnights in the backcountry can make reservations for it. So if like I'm set up in the shelter and then someone shows up and they're like, hey, I have a reservation, they can kick me out at like whatever time they get there. So at 10 o'clock at night I could have to go set up my tent. So I guess that's one good thing that came out of COVID. So I'm currently at the Spence shelter, which is about mile 183. So in probably 2 days, I'll be reaching mile 200, which is pretty exciting because the first 100 miles felt like they dragged by, and the next 100 has just been like whoosh. So that is going to do it for today's video, and I will see you in the next one.